I accept the bush that and that's a Farmerkhalil. And IG, Facebook, and all social media handles. Share, like, and subscribe. It's a vibe. Bush.
All right, factory. I don't know how much copper oxide is used down there.
No, we don't really use a lot of copper oxide.
That's cheap, and it's really starting to be a thing here, particularly with goats. We don't have to worry about copper toxicity in goats. I mean, not never, but copper. I don't know if are you familiar with the copper oxide wire particles?
No.
So they're a slow-release, poorly absorbed form of copper, which means the risk of toxicity in sheep is going to be considerably less than copper sulfate, which is an old-time dewormer that used to kill a lot of sheep because it was much more absorbable. So the copper oxide wire particles have been shown to be effective against barber pole worms, especially in lambs and kids. And the challenge is getting it into them because they're sold as copper supplements, particularly for cattle.
So
they come into and they're little metal rods.
Yes, I've seen them.
So you repackage them. See, they would be great to use in Jamaica. Here, they're not a drug, so they're not regulated by FDA. Here, they're sold as copper supplements, and people just use them to deworm. So you kind of slip through the cracks on regulation.
I see.
Just like Bioworma, you familiar with Bioworma?
I was going to ask you about this Bioworma.
So Bioworma is not a drug, so it's not regulated by FDA. In the U.S., it's regulated by EPA, an Environmental Protection Agency. So who's the corresponding body in Jamaica? The problem with Bioworma is it's freaking expensive.
Yes, it is. It's ridiculously expensive. I saw it online for a little bucket.
But I will also tell you, there are strategies for making it significantly less. One, don't feed liver mold. Why the heck do we want to import feed all the way from Australia? That's what you're doing.
Yes.
You're importing a nutritional supplement that has like 2.2% of the fungus. Bioworm itself has 34% of the fungus.
Okay.
So it's like 0.1 ounce per 100 pounds, and the other one's like several ounces per 100 pounds. So if you simply feed Bioworma instead of liver mold, you significantly reduce the cost. But you got to be able to put it in a feed.
Yeah.
Which if you got a feedlot, no problem. But then if you have a feedlot, you don't need it. But if you're a feed company, it's a product that you can make. The other way is, and the research is going to look at that, including Kwame at Delaware State. Instead of feeding it every day, maybe I only need to feed it every other day, or maybe I need to feed it 2 weeks out of the month. That just cut the cost in half.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be in a mineral product. That eliminates my labor cost. But research needs to confirm those.
Those applications.
And then here, simply buying through it in bulk. Most of it's sold by Premier in Iowa. If you could buy it in bulk instead of one at a time.
Yeah, Premier One supplies.
Yeah, and of course shipping. So what people would need to do if they wanted to reduce that is work together. Like I have a farmer in the county that buys a pallet of milk replacer from Premier.
Okay.
And then I can buy it from him.
From him.
So things like that. So there's strategies. And then we're not really sure how to feed it. I mean, if you followed the thing on the label, you'd be feeding it in Jamaica year-round. But maybe we'll learn strategically
how to use it, how to apply for sure.
How to use it.
Yeah, maybe before the wet season, that type of vibe.
During the wet season.
Or during the wet season. Yeah, during the wet season.
And then it might have, in one of the challenges with Jamaica is all the animals running together. Because then you're paying to feed all of them and you don't need to.
And you don't need to, so true.
So, things like that. I'm trying to get a feed company here to make something, but they got to get through the EPA hurdles. And so in this country, only a vet can buy Bioworma. But Premier has vets on staff, so that's how everybody gets by it. I can buy Bioworma from Premier. Okay. I just can't dose 0.1 ounce per 100 pounds.
It's ridiculously expensive for that.
I'd have to buy Livermole, and then it's too expensive. But like I said, and I don't know if there's any attempt to get it in Jamaica.
No, haven't.
And it might be currently the way we think it. Currently, the way they say it needs to be used, it just might be cost prohibitive anyhow, and you may not need it.
Yeah, I believe that. When I was looking at it, the cost that I'd have to sell the feed that if we're supposed to implement that would be, our farmers will never afford that.
Right. And like I said, not that many. It's that same here, but there are ways to get that price down.
Yeah, I have to consider that.
If right now, if this feed company I'm talking about, if they were legally able to mix feed, all I'd have to do is buy it from Premier and have a feed mix, and I'd be fine.
And you'd be fine, yeah.
But they can't do it. Put it out. So one company markets a little bowling gun where it holds the capsule like this on either side of it. See my hands?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't like that one. A farmer told me if you get like the plastic bowling guns that are about this long, at the end of the and it provided a nice little shade.
Oh, for the animals.
For when we have, you'll see where our pen is. They did this after we stopped the feeding.
And what kind of grass is this?
This?
I can see it a lot.
Well, I don't think that's small grains. I mean, they're probably gonna kill what's ever in there to plant soybeans or something.
Oh, okay.
They usually have corn or soybeans in here.
Okay, corn or soybeans.
We wanted to expand over here, but they've got irrigation over here and they weren't gonna let us do that.
So how does this facility accommodate students, or it's strictly
This is a research center, and what we call a research and education center. There's multiple ones around the state. And this one's about 500 acres. The property used to be owned by the federal government. Apparently there's secret tunnels in here. There's like tunnels. And then it went to was given to the state. And so different types of research are done here. A researcher from campus could have students involved, yes.
Okay.
But like I don't work with students. So this is my office. I don't have, other than the fact I technically work for the College of Ag, I don't have anything to do with them.
Oh, okay.
I used to be an affiliated member of the Animal Science Department, but I gave that up. Our Animal Science Department, I don't have any use for. They don't do anything, production, industry, sheep, goat, they don't do anything that's relevant. That doesn't mean I'm saying they're bad, because they get a lot of funding from like NIH kind of places, and they do, they do their research in petri dish.
In petri dishes.
I do my research with my finger up a goat's butt.
Yeah, more practical.
Yeah. So originally, this little hut here had a pen, and we would use it if we needed to isolate.
Okay.
When we had the goats here, and up until the last couple of years, we used porta huts as their shelter.
Okay, porta huts. I get you.
Yeah, I need to sell them now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you can see the structure we have out there now.
Yeah.
So the pen, which we had to rob some of the panels, this was the pen that we would put 15 goats in here. So you can see where the fence posts are, how big it was.
It was big, yes.
And so
there
was a shelter, and they had hay, and then we would feed them grain on hanging feeders over the side, and then remove those feeders. And ideally, there would be no vegetation in here.
Yes, cut down.
And we don't have it. You can't see it now, but there would be something for them to play on, like you see that spool, things for them to climb on.
Okay.
We always try to do that for goats.
Yeah, they need it.
At one time, I don't remember what year it is, but all this was planted in something. We had used electric netting and brought this into the system.
Oh, okay. And that's electric fencing.
We had this is our natural resource guy put this in.
Okay.
See, animal science people think that's waste, and he's doing stuff with trees, and I get it, but we don't like it. We like pasture.
We like pastures.
That's just the way we are.
Oh,
like I said, we had trees, and it was nice here for shade. We called this the goat Hilton
Goat Hilton.
Because they were healthier, happier goats.
In here, I can't imagine.
They used to run. It was funny. They used to. It was not that hard to get them from there down to the scale, and when they were done, they would just all run back. It was just sort of funny.
Can't imagine. That's supposed to be so nice.
So that was the size of the pen, and like I said, we did studies for 4 years, and then after that, we would just use this pen. Like the first 2 years of the lamb study, I had to bring ewes in that we could synchronize.
Yes.
And they would be in here and that sort of thing. We need to know how much is in there right now. We'll need grain again for this year's project.
For this year's project. Okay, I see a silo.
And so this thing right here, this is 10 acres.
It's 10 acres.
Yeah, before I took it over, it had fewer wires and they grazed dairy heifers in it. And you know cow people don't know what fences are, so we added more wires and we electrified them all.
Electrified them all.
Particularly we had to add that. If I was building a fence from scratch, I wouldn't use this wire configuration. There's too much, well, obviously this one needs an insulator down here. But I wouldn't configure it exactly like that. We started with the fence and had to make it work. And so you can see what the pasture's like. It's a pasture mix that contains different grasses, different legumes.
I seen like clovers inside of it.
And it has chicory.
Chicory, okay. This is nice.
And to be honest with you, it's too good.
It's too good.
That's what caused the lambs to go crazy, to have scours.
The scours, and so it's too good. It's a good combination. Wow.
It was too good. That building got put in a couple of years ago. One of the problems we had with the porta huts, well, I didn't like the porta huts, but they didn't help me at all. I had to stand out in the hot sun, as did the goats when we were working. We did a little bit with tents and stuff, but so we put a hoop house up. We wanted to put something else up, and the university made us put a hoop house up. The covers kept coming off, and the last year the hoop house was there, the wind just pulled it up right out of the ground. So then we got this structure, which I think this will be our 3rd year.
Oh, okay.
It's basically a roof structure, so the handling system is under it, and they can get shade on it.
You can get shade on it there.
And this year we're going to change it up a little, and I need to get working on it. I want to fence the whole structure in with gates because I want to keep them away from the handling system because they mess it up. And goats like to climb on things and sheep like to rub on things. So I want to keep them away from the handling system. And also, it's too wet. And I want to put 2 bedded pens in
2
there.
bedded pens.
Yeah, and I need to get working on that. So it uses this grazing system uses a central laneway system. So the current project that we're doing, we'll put electric netting up. We'll divide each side into 4 paddocks.
The 4 paddocks.
So the pasture rotation will be it'll be rotated weekly, and the pasture will just get 28 days rest. So would that weekly and 28 days rest get the job done on parasites? If it was a challenge, no, but it wouldn't because they're coming back to that paddock too soon.
Too soon, yeah, no doubt.
We didn't have parasite problems last year. They were sheep and they were Katahdins, so we didn't have it. I dewormed 1 lamb the whole time. Doesn't mean we can't eventually have them, but that's the situation. I always jokingly tell people, how'd you get rid of the parasites? I said, we got rid of the goats. But lots of things happened when we finished the goat project. It wasn't just because there were goats. There were reasons. So this is our system. This is a terrible fence. We should never put it up.
Huh?
Never.
Animals get stuck in it.
Well, they can get through it. The goats could get through it. They're too big.
They're too
If you're going to use woven wire, it needs to be small enough to keep goats out, or the animals out, and the predators out. So it was a poor choice.
So what kind of predators do you guys have here?
Coyotes.
Oh, you guys have coyotes.
One time we heard enough of them here that we brought in a trapper, but the primary parasites in this, well, we got them all. There's bears in western Maryland. There's obviously dogs, foxes, eagles, vultures. Everybody eats.
Oh, so nice. It just run them out, even the fences.
Obviously, nothing's been done to this yet this year. And the lambs are coming in mid-June.
In mid-June.
Yeah, so work has to be done. And then that'll be like a sick pen.
Okay, sick bee.
But yeah, all this has to be mowed, and like I said, I want to fence in. I got to get on it. I got this contest coming up this weekend for kids. You see, we got grain in here.
Yeah. Okay. And is this a handling facility you run them through?
What's that?
So you handle, how you handle them?
Yeah, we've used this facility for a long time.
Oh, nice.
And the problem we have is the sheep keep knocking this off. The goats would climb, and this was open, they'd climb up. The sheep rub and keep knocking this thing out every single time.
Every single time.
So I'd really like to keep them completely away from the handling system.
Which is nice. Really nice.
Then we need to paint it. I'd like to paint it. I would not do any of the research here without a handling system.
Yeah,
And the lambs
that's
come
important.
really well up back.
So where you put the scale right here?
The scale will set scale, but now it just sits right up here.
With the load cells and so.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
The lambs have electronic ID, but I guess I haven't taken the time to get a software, so it's just as easy to read the visual tag.
Yeah, oh, I get you. Yeah,
But
yeah,
they got
yeah.
electronic ID. They're from a really good farm in Pennsylvania that does like everything everybody,
Would dream to have.
everything you would recommend as an extension person. They do.
Oh, that's nice.
And so anyhow, I have a forage specialist, Amanda Grev, and then the local county extension agent, Jeff Sumler. Their responsibility is the forage here, and they need to get moving on it.
They get moving on it.
Yeah, they need to get moving on it. They're neglecting it.
What I like is in your system is that everybody's really specialized. We're not there as yet in Jamaica.
It's not, I mean,
For like me, I do forages and I do nutrition.
right, but there's room for all of it. I mean, there's pros and cons to that. I mean, I feel like I have knowledge in all of it, but I'm going to delegate that to them because she's a forage specialist and he's very good at forages. And I take more of the animal stuff. But you raise animals and all the things are involved. And even if you're a nutritionist, all the things are involved.
Yes, yes.
So really, you got to be you have to have knowledge of all of it.
Of all of it.
But